Hello, my name is Andrea, and this is my community garden.
Okay, first question. What made you want to start getting into gardening? Did you have any specific inspirations?
Um, I started really getting interested in gardening several years ago, but acted on it around COVID. When the pandemic came, then I had more time at home and I started gardening in pots. So right now I'm laying down weed barrier. I am going to put an open bottom raised bed right here, and this will help keep weeds from coming out of the ground and into the weed bed.
When you first started, what did you start off planting?
I was growing in pots on my balcony. I think I started with just a couple of cabbages and tomatoes.
Okay, so what are you doing right now?
Right now, I just erected these garden beds, and I'm using the boxes that they came in inside of the garden bed because two things. One, these are going to break down and they will help to make compost for my soil. But two, I really don't want to fill this entire box with potting soil. It would be super expensive. So I'm going to have a layer of cardboard and a layer of like dry sticks and then a layer of just regular soil and compost. And that helps to keep the cost down, but also helps to keep the soil healthy.
Okay, now what are some things you've learned since you started your garden?
Well, when I started gardening, like a little bit larger scale gardening, I was watching all these YouTube videos and it looks so glamorous, and everyone has all the things. And what I learned is that gardening doesn't have to be expensive, and it doesn't have to be this big promotion or this big production. You can really start gardening with whatever you have, inside, outside, whatever space you have. You just need to start.
What has been your favorite thing to plant and your least favorite thing to plant?
Okay, so last year I wanted to grow corn. I wanted to use the Three Sisters method, which is an indigenous Native American style of planting beans, corn, and squash. So you plant the corn, and then you plant the beans, and then the beans and the squash trellis the corn, and it's supposed to make good use of the space. It did not work well in my garden. I didn't have enough airflow. I had a bean beetle problem. The beans got attacked. There wasn't enough air for the corn mildewed. So what I learned is that although certain things are good in theory, you really have to know your space and what works for you.
Okay, now your favorite thing to plant.
It's a tie between corn and watermelon. I grew both last year. The corn was so sweet, it was so tasty, and it grew really well on its own. I just plopped the seeds in and I didn't have to do anything to it but watch it grow. Watermelon actually takes a lot of work. It's a lot of watering, it's a lot of fertilizer, but homegrown watermelon is so sweet and so good. It's absolutely my favorite thing.
Okay, how do you think gardening is beneficial specifically as an African American?
It's a good question. The more that you grow your food and connect to your own food, the more you realize that a lot of what we consume on a daily basis is not food. We eat a lot of artificial stuff that's not really food, whether it's the sweetener in our coffee in the morning or the french fries that no longer mold or the snacks that we eat that are full of sugar. We're so disconnected from our food, especially as African Americans who have high cholesterol, diabetes, and all of these other disorders. We're stricken by them at a higher rate than other communities. We really need this. We need to be out here connecting to our food and making better conscious decisions.
Okay, last question. What do you hope to gain or be your moral out of this gardening journey?
I think that if I'm telling a story out of growing a garden, it's that hobbies are important. It gives you something to invest your time in. Sometimes you have to do it alone. And three, you have to take accountability. Someone once told me that you either care for your health or care for your illness. And I'm trying to care for my health so that I don't have to deal with illness later on.